Okay, so this is episode 11. It's following off of episode 10. I just finished the episode with Alcon. Just come back to my Airbnb. Day 2 of Park Life, here we fucking come. Let's do it, bro. Day 2 of Park Life, and then tomorrow I'm gonna meet Caitlin after work, after she finishes work. So yeah, let's get the day done and then see what she says tomorrow. Fingers crossed we can do it. 2 episodes in Manchester on season 1. Let's fucking go. Unfortunately, Caitlin's not feeling too well, so she can't do the episode later on. So I'm just going to spend the rest of my day in Manchester. I think I'm going to go to the cinema and then get my coach in the evening home. It's been a lovely trip, I can't lie. It's been really nice. And I'm really grateful that I got to do it. Back to work when I get back. And maybe find someone for this weekend instead. Start doing some calls at some point maybe. I was looking for somewhere to sit before the coach came, and I saw this park, and it reminded me of a story. Like 6 years ago, yeah, like nearly 6 years ago, the first time I ever went to Park Life with my girlfriend at the time. We had the most amazing time. It was my first time in Manchester as well. And the day after, when we were supposed to get our coach, that morning, we came here to this park, just chilling. I think we had a smoke or something before we were going to get the coach. We were talking about how amazing the festival was and how much we loved Park Life and Manchester. And we thought to ourselves, should we just stay here for a bit? And should we just miss the coach and try find another one for the next day? So we did, we fucked off the coach and we spent the day exploring around Manchester. I had a few tattoos at the time, but my girlfriend didn't have any. And we said to each other, why don't we get a matching tattoo to commemorate this amazing time that we spent together? And the fact that we stayed, let's get something to commemorate this whole time. It was the same year that all the Manchester bombings happened. So the bee was being seen a lot everywhere. So we thought to ourselves, why don't we get a matching tattoo of the bee? And we did. So that's this tattoo that I got here. It was in this park somewhere. I think we were sitting like down on that grass over there. We were like, should we get a tattoo of the bee together? And we did, but literally in this park, we found a tattoo place. We walked there. It was boiling hot that day, I remember. And we had the most amazing time. That's a memory that I hold with me forever. Like, I love that so much. We had such a good time with that festival. Like, we connected so much, like, as a couple that time. Obviously, eventually we broke up, but I'm so grateful for that memory. And I'm grateful for this tattoo as well, because it reminds me of it. It reminds me of that time and how fun it was and what our relationship was like. Obviously, I wasn't the man I should have been, and I learned a lot from it. But yeah, I'm still grateful for the memory itself. And it makes me feel weird thinking that 5 or 6 years later, I'm sitting here, came to this park without even knowing that's where this memory was. It just feels really weird. But it's really nice. It's really nice. I wonder what she thinks of the memory, you know? Like, I wonder if she thinks of it as fondly as I do, or if she hates it. I wonder if she got the tattoo removed as well. I think about that quite a lot. I do wonder.
Hoping for a dream in the backseat, running with your team, shutting mad weed. This is what I deem to be average. Running with my team, staying active. These days I've been feeling free from the actors. Puffing on that green for the madness. This is not a scene for the boys. This is for the team and the fam them. Look, as I grow, started to flow sicker than them. My sounds iller, they started to show bitterness. It's too deep, I'm too real, they're too weak. We lose touch, they're too fake, confuse me. I might judge, but my judgment's usually right. Just not my time to get loud. They're spending more time to get down. I've been up late, penning my rhyme to send round. Any updates looking to blow the past? Cause I've been fucked, mate, looking for hope and that. And it's a lot game, that's what they told me, nah. I'm on the up, mate, nothing can hold me back. I've been on this path too long, hunting for a quick graph too wrong. Wonder where the piss stack Zeus on this man's too gone. Running from the stick like glue dons. Only way to win, I choose one. It's all better, we never been nameless, but that was the aim. Lesson to every day, attain regular effortless came pepper the set of the game, left with nothing but change ups. I'm not cocky with it, I let my bars do the talking. Relax your arms, not a warting. This is the part where I walk in, looking for a mic check. If needs must get the orcs in.
So, I really haven't been recording much at all the last week or so. I feel like my mental health just kind of... But now, I feel good, and we got another episode tomorrow, guys. So Kerry, I met a few weeks ago. No, do you know what? I feel like it was at least a month or two ago now. It's been a while. I was walking home and she was outside a restaurant with a group of people. I started talking to them. I can't remember why, but it turned out they all worked in the ICU. And I remember being like, well, I remember not knowing exactly what that was at first, and then being like, oh shit, oh hold on, my dealer's calling me, one sec. As I was saying, I met this girl outside a restaurant. She works in the ICU, I don't know which hospital. She was with her group of friends who said that they were all down for it, but then over the months that I haven't spoken to her or been trying to arrange it, all of her friends backed out, but she was still down. So cool. Let's see how it goes tomorrow. See them. Okay, let's go meet Kerry. That's it.
Kerry, episode 11.
Wicked, thank you. How are you today? How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'll be honest, before we get into anything, when I originally thought about doing this, I thought, oh, it'll be really fun to play like little games with people.
Okay.
To like break tension, or I don't know, just to get people comfortable and shit like that.
Sure.
No, it turns out every person that I've done it with hasn't really been nervous or anything like that, and neither have you been. You've been very calm. Like, I know we met like 5 minutes ago or something like that,
Yeah.
but I kind of really want to play a game of dominoes with someone. I've been craving it recently, so
Okay,
can we play a game of dominoes?
Sure, yeah, why not?
I'm deadly serious. I've been wanting to do this for ages.
Let's go for it.
I played a game with my brother the other day, but he was rubbish, so it wasn't that fun.
As I said, I don't think I've played domino since I was very small.
Yeah. The job I was on as well, it had a group of people playing dominoes, and it made me really want to do it.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's do it. So you're West London, same as me.
Yeah.
Cool. How long have you been? You grew up here?
I was actually born in Ealing.
Oh really? Nice. I grew up in Brentford.
Oh right, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
very close
yeah.
then. Very close. Neighbours.
Yeah. Did you like growing up there?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I was sort of born in Ealing, but then moved around a bit and grew up pretty much in Hayes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Do you like West?
Yeah, I've always lived west.
Nice.
West is best.
It is. It is, isn't it?
That'll upset some people.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. God, I'm sweating so much today, man.
I know, it's so warm.
humid.
Sticky.
Fucking hell. It was supposed to be sun out today. I'm having a barbecue later with my friends. What are you doing?
Oh, nice. I'm going to meet some friends for a drink after this, I think.
Nice.
But yeah, don't know. We'll see where the night takes us.
Nice. Sounds good.
No plans, really.
after today, you're going to be an avid
I know,
domino
I'm going
player.
to have to go and buy this.
You're going to go to your friends with the drinks and be like, guys, dominoes?
Dominoes, anyone?
I'm actually going to bring it to my friend's barbecue later. And I'm going to try and convince them to let me play.
I'm quite jealous you're going to a barbecue.
Well, I say that. I told my friends that I want to have one. They were like, cool, come down and we'll try. I don't know what that means, we'll try. Like, I feel like I have certain groups of friends that are just really bad at organising things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
you'll meet to do something, but then all this procrastination will just make the day end up to be nothing.
Yeah.
It's such a shame.
Well, yeah, it just feels like effort.
Yeah, yeah, literally. Like he was like, yeah, come down, we're here. Thingy's just gone to East London to buy a car, and I was like, what the fuck do you mean Thingy's gone to East London to buy a car? He's like, yeah. I was like, how long is that going to be? He goes, I don't know. He's just going to go look at it and see. I don't know. May not even happen. I might have a barbecue by myself.
Do get one of those little portable ones.
I
And
think I should. Because you know what? I think. Could you imagine smelling a barbecue and then like turning the corner and see just one guy in the park by himself, just cooking up?
having a little cook-off.
Yeah. I feel sorry for him.
It's probably the weirdest thing you'd see
Yeah.
in a London park.
And they're just trying to invite people like, come, I've got meat, come.
Yeah.
Come
Well, actually, I
on."
went to the beach, I think last summer actually now, thinking about it. But there was just a big group of people on the beach, like cooking a massive bonfire, drinking beers, things like that. And I was just wandering up and down on my own. My friend had gone back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And they were like, come and join us. And I just sat with them for about 2 hours.
That's cute.
Just, eating their food, drinking with them. They were really cool.
That's sweet. Where did you say that was?
It was in, where was it? It was Bournemouth,
Oh,
I think.
nice.
Yeah, it was just like a group of kids having a great time. And I think I'd wandered past up the beach and I turned around and wandered back to my hotel and they were like, oh, you're here on your own. I was like, oh, no, it's all right. I'm just out for a little walk. It was fairly late, like 9 o'clock or something, but not crazy.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, it was really nice. I'm like, you can't be by yourself. Come on, join us. I don't know whose go it is now. Is it mine?
I think it's your go.
Okay. And who wins? The person who uses up their...
Yes. Or
One's first.
if we don't get if neither of us are able to put any more down, then we count up the numbers on our dominoes, and whoever has the smallest number wins.
Okay, fine.
At least that's how I've played it since
Yeah.
last. So I went to Mauritius last year, and I was staying with my dad.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen my dad maybe for like 2 years, and we had like a rocky relay. That's actually so fucking cute.
That's so cute. Chasing butterfly.
That's like the most innocent thing I've ever seen.
I know. Oh, so sweet.
Yeah,
Sorry, go on.
I hadn't seen him in years, and I didn't know how it was going to be staying with him and all this stuff. So I was like, let me just come up with things that we can do so that we don't have to talk with each other.
Yeah.
So I brought like a deck of cards and dominoes and shit, and I brought it there. So every time there's awkward silence, I'd be like, dominoes, want to play a game?
Yeah,
Do you wanna do something
that's
like
a really
that?
good idea. Actually.
Yeah, it ended up being a really nice time, really nice trip, but we actually like kind of got into playing dominoes quite a lot.
Yeah.
And at the very first day we started playing, he was like, so how do you play? And I just made up the rules, and he was like, okay. And then we played according to those rules that whole time. And these are the rules that we're playing against now. By now.
Using the same ones.
Yeah.
I like it.
These are the father and son bonding rules.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I didn't know you could sort of put them in the middle, but I noticed you doing that, so I've been doing
So
it
you've been
now.
following
I was like, you have to pick a number and go that way.
It's anyone's game, baby. This is ours.
Yeah. I feel like I've done something wrong only because that's my last one.
That means you've won.
Yay!
Nice.
But how did that happen if we were in turns and you've still got loads left?
Oh yeah. Oh, so we did mess up the order. Okay, we'll try again later,
All right.
and I'll beat you this
Round
time.
2, best of 3.
Yeah. So, Kerry, we met outside a restaurant, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
So tell me, do you remember your day that we met? Because we met in the evening, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I'd just been out for dinner with work people, I think.
Yeah. So what was your day before we even got to that thing? What did you do that day?
What did I do? Oh, I was at work with my colleagues. I work in a hospital. I can't remember. I think I might have been teaching that day.
Teaching in the hospital?
Yeah, so I work as an intensive care nurse educator, basically.
Okay.
So I'm a nurse in ITU, but I am an educator, so I teach the new nurses coming into that area how to look after our patients, basically.
Okay.
So it's a real nice mix of, I get to be clinical and look after patients and have a lot of contact, and then other times I can sort of work in a classroom or plan, that sort of stuff. So I think that day I was teaching, which was quite fun. So we had lots of mannequins to play with and things like that. And then when I met you, it was our Christmas do, even though it was like March or something.
It wasn't that long.
I think over actual Christmas, even though the rest of the world had moved on, we were still quite worried about COVID. So a few of the team went well, and we were like, oh, let's not bring everyone down because somebody might have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we postponed and postponed and postponed.
Yeah.
And that was our Christmas do.
Oh, fair enough.
And like March or whenever that was, March or April.
That's jokes that's your Christmas you can do. That's hilarious.
So that was the education team that you met.
Okay, they seem really lovely.
Yeah,
they
they're
seem
a lot
like
of
nice
fun.
people.
They're good guys.
So yeah, my day was I'd recently, was it March that time?
I think so. March or April. Something like that.
I'd recently started a new job, I think. I work in. I recently started a new job. I was just getting used to it, just on my way home. And I heard you guys talking and laughing from like ages away down the high street, and I was like, what's all this energy? Because was it a weekday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weekday. So I was like,
it was a Thursday or something.
Yeah, at this time on a day like this, and I see you guys and you're just great energy, so I just start talking to you guys. And then I heard the word ICU, and I can't lie, at first I wasn't really sure what that meant.
Yeah.
Also, forgive my ignorance throughout this whole episode. I'm going to be asking a bunch of stupid questions.
No, not at all. There are no stupid questions.
Thank you. I'm glad you feel that way, because I feel that way too.
No, not at all.
So ICU nurse. So ICU means intensive care unit.
Yes.
So exactly what kind of patients do you get? Like what constitutes an intensive care unit patient? Yeah.
So normally they are the sickest patients in the hospital. They need the most intense care. And I suppose what that really means is they tend to have.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Kerry, let's go.
If we see any, we'll run.
Thank you for letting us know.
That was really cute.
That's great. I did wish I knew that sooner, but we're already set up, so I'm going to let it slide.
All right, fine.
So carry on.
Sorry. So we look after the sickest patients in the hospital.
Yeah.
Quite often they need what we call organ support, so they're on different machines, sort of life support, some might say. So that might be things like a ventilator machine to breathe for them. They might be on medications to keep their heart beating properly and efficiently. They might be on some medications to keep them asleep while we fix other problems. Maybe like dialysis, you might have heard of. If the kidneys aren't working, then they might be on a machine for that. So quite often you'll have one nurse that looks after the patient and also all of that equipment and make sure that everything is working properly, efficiently, and then responds if there's any deterioration or if there's any changes in the patient's condition, and then keeps them alive, basically.
Yeah.
That's the aim anyway. Try and fix them.
Yeah. So ICU nurse, is there a different, well I guess there is because you teach, so there's a different schooling or teaching if you want to be an ICU nurse compared to being a normal nurse? Yeah,
sort of. Originally you'll do the same nursing qualification as everyone else, and then years ago you'd have to have years of experience before you're allowed to work in intensive care and do various courses. I think with the nursing shortages we'll take people newly qualified now, so people can come to ITU pretty much as soon as they finish their nursing degree. But then they need lots of additional training, so that's sort of where I come in. And then eventually, when they've been there about a year to 18 months, they will go back to university and do a critical care qualification. And then they'll be a fully fledged ITU nurse technically.
I see, but
so they have to do an additional qualification.
Yeah.
But they can work there before that with lots of support from me.
I see. Wow. How long have you been an ICU nurse for?
Blimey, too long. I started in 2012.
Wow, so over 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Mind me asking how old you are?
34.
Nice. So what's it like? What's it like being a nurse? Have you always been at the hospital in?
No, I've moved around a bit. I worked at as well, which is in
Okay.
which is the trauma centre, so that was quite intense.
Wow.
Car accidents, a lot of car accidents, or general traumas, stabbings, lots of gang violence in London would go there.
Okay.
So that was quite intense. Where I am at the moment, it's sort of head injuries, neurosurgery, GI, gastro, abdominal stuff. But yeah, it's a good mix, really.
Yeah.
You get to see a lot of everything, whereas I find in some areas of nursing, I don't know if you work in cardiology, that's what you see. You see the heart, and that's about it.
I see what you mean,
We
yeah.
get a bit of everything.
Yeah.
But you are kind of the jack of all trades and master of none, really. But I find it really interesting.
Yeah.
And I've just seen some incredible things, so.
What do you find interesting about it specifically?
I think there's always new conditions that I've never heard of, or it changes so quickly, like COVID, for example. When that first started, we didn't know what that was at all. But yeah, it's ever changing. So there's so much science involved in intensive care, and new equipment and new technologies happening all the time. So in the 10 years that I've been there, it's not been the same since when I first started.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately I love it because I think it's one of the most rewarding jobs there is.
Yeah.
You normally have the sickest patients ever.
Yeah.
And then you see them get better, go home, do well, go back to work, go back to uni, wherever, and carry on with their lives. It's the most amazing feeling.
Yeah.
And if we're lucky enough, they'll sometimes come back
Really?
to see us, which is always the nicest.
Wow. I'm someone who's a really big people pleaser. I really like looking after people and making sure they're okay and making people comfortable and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I used to be a carer for a child with mental disabilities for about four years or
lovely.
so, on and off.
Yeah.
That will always be, I think, my favourite job I've ever done, because just spending time with him and just looking after him and taking him out to the park and other things that he wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Yeah. It's just making life normal, isn't
Yeah.
it? Trying to make it not feel weird or then feel like the other.
Yeah.
Try and make the day. I mean, some of the nicest days I've had have been when someone's maybe been in bed for weeks on end, and it's the first day we've actually taken them outside to have some fresh air, and it's such effort where you need doctors and nurses and physios and all sorts of people and equipment, and everything's got to be portable, and it's really stressful, but their experience of that is just amazing. Just to try and make the day slightly less shit, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if I can swear.
No, you can do what the fuck you want. Hey, this is our show, okay? We can do whatever we want. I think that's so fucking amazing, man. Tell me about when you first started. What was it like the first year? Because the GP, the general public's understanding of nursing is just the stress and the hours and the underpayment and you hear a lot of that, and I wonder how was it those first few years? I guess this is 10 years ago, so I don't know if it was much different compared to today. Talk me through that a little bit.
I suppose it kind of again, it's changed a lot, but when I first started, I didn't always work in intensive care, so my first job was on a neurosurgical ward, so brains, basically, broken brains. And I'd have, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 patients, something like that. And they were obviously less acuity, but normally most of them had surgery of some description. And all I can really remember about that job is how I just felt so out of my depth. I think I went into uni for nursing pretty much from school. I knew I wanted to do something to help people, and caring was sort of my nature, and I just sort of fell into it by accident. It not been a vocation, I don't know, some people say. It was a bit by accident, and then when I qualified, I was probably 21, something like that. So at that, I was just so ridiculously immature as a 21-year-old as well, that I just couldn't believe that I had people's sort of lives in my hands, and it just felt like so much overwhelming pressure. I just felt terrified all the time that I'd make a mistake, or somebody would get sicker and I maybe wouldn't notice, or something like that. But then, that ward taught me so much, and I've got friends for life that I met there, because we were all sort of that same time in our lives. The first time I moved out was with girls from that ward. We had
Oh,
sort of
wow.
a flat share in Shepherd's Bush.
Oh, nice.
With a load of nurses, so
Nice.
that was a fun house. But yeah, I don't know. I remember being scared a lot, but I just sort of thought how amazing it was. I think at that point, I wasn't really invested in, I don't know, the state of the NHS or the pay or anything like that. I was just so in awe of everything that we did and everything the NHS did and stood for, and I just thought it was incredible.
Wow.
I think it was only once I'd been a nurse for a while I started to see some of the injustices, as I say.
Yeah.
But yeah, at that point, I just loved it. I just absolutely loved it. Yeah, I don't know. It's terrifying, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to a point, I guess, in that first 2 years where I knew I wanted to do something else, but I didn't really know what. And I knew about the training program in intensive care and sort of thought, oh, if I can look after some of the sickest patients, maybe it will take some of that fear away, that I'll know what I'm doing. Because if I can look after them, I'll be able to look after anyone. And that's sort of how I got there, I think.
Yeah.
But there's so many avenues as well. You know, if you're interested in something in particular, you can totally follow that career path and do something completely different to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for letting it take you wherever you want, really. It's never stagnant.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about that hospital that you worked at in?
Yeah.
The one you mentioned that you had to deal with, like some violent crimes and things like that.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I think at the time, I mean, it was a lot. There was definitely a lot. I'd never really looked after somebody that had been stabbed multiple times. I'd never seen that in my life, really. And I know growing up in and around London, I'd had friends that had been injured before and things. It's not like I'd never heard of this before. But I know a lot of my colleagues who have come to London to work from small villages elsewhere were really shocked by it. And I was a bit taken back by that. I wasn't really that shocked. It was more, it was just like, oh, wow, like I've actually seen it now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of it a lot and know of people, but it was kind of directly.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest thing I found was one incident, for example, with sort of two rival gangs, and we had a patient, well, two patients actually, but from both sides of, you know, each gang. And I remember that being really difficult and having so many police officers on the unit because they were worried that, you know, people would come in to visit and then it might kick off again and things like that. And we had to have them as far away from each other on different sides of the units with lots of security in between.
Yeah.
And tried not to let the other person know that the other one was there and things like that. I remember that being a bit chaotic.
Damn. You're literally describing a scene from Top Boy.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet. Just like, yeah, I know. It was, and you know, they both did okay.
Yeah.
But one of the things I thought was crazy, which I didn't know at the time, was about sort of injuries that were caused. It wasn't to kill the rival gang. It was sort of to maim or disfigure. And that was a big thing that I had no idea about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people don't. But,
the thing is more calculated than just trying to kill the person.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't really want to, because you don't really want to get in trouble in that sense. You don't want to commit murder, but you want to give somebody a massive scar across their face that they have to live with forever. Or, that was new to me and quite frightening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was traumatic. I mean, I worked in trauma, but I know years later I definitely developed some sort of anxieties around working there. Just from the things that you see that, you know, I say to my, now I'm teaching the new generation, I always say to them, you know, some of the things you see are just absolutely mental that the general public just aren't aware of.
Yeah.
That these sort of things take place even. Yeah. So, you know, don't feel... or if you feel out of your depth or overwhelmed or just you don't know how to handle a situation, seek help, because it isn't normal,
Yeah.
but we have to carry on. So you're sort of like, oh, move on to the next day, and then you
Yeah.
just carry on and carry on and carry on. And then eventually you're a bit like, what just happened?
Yeah, yeah.
What was this week?
Yeah.
That was insane. I don't really know how I'm going to deal with this, but
Do you have any other examples of something that you've seen that was really like
I
took a minute to
think
process?
there were two that really difficult. There was one that was a racial attack, which really upset me.
Racial attack.
So it was, a family actually that had arrived at the airport. I can't remember where from, but they'd gone to their hotel and they'd been followed, and then later on that evening attacked in their hotel room.
Wow.
And there were 2 women and 2 children, and all 4 of them ended up in intensive care. So at St Mary's there was a paediatric intensive care as well. So the
my
little
God.
ones were as well. And I just found that disgusting.
Yeah,
that
that's-
somebody can a calculated move
Yeah.
to see a family and hate that much that
Yeah.
they'd seek out where they were staying to cause harm.
Fucking hell, man.
I
That's
just
awful.
couldn't process that for
Yeah.
the longest time.
I could imagine, yeah.
So I just can't understand why anyone
Yeah.
would do that.
That's wild.
So that was pretty horrible.
Damn.
And then I suppose working in central London, like any city, you deal with a lot of major incidents. So by that I mean like the Grenfell fire. I was working then.
Wow.
There was the Westminster attack. So I was on then as well. Working in a major trauma centre, you get the first traumas.
Yeah.
The first couple of people that were sort of, can't think of the word, like run over
Yeah.
on Westminster Bridge came to our unit.
Wow.
And as did the person that caused the harm. So that was quite tough as well.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, he didn't come to intensive care.
Yeah,
I think.
but he was
I
in
think
that.
he was shot by police officers. So
Yeah.
got to A&E, and then I think he was pronounced dead on arrival.
Oh, I see, I see.
So I don't think he came to our unit, but
Yeah.
some of the other casualties did. It's a
Checking
very
that.
morbid episode.
It is, don't worry. We're going to go everywhere, don't worry about it. Ow, ow, ow. So, when I work in whenever there's a sensitive scene or something that is dealing with like a sensitive topic or subject matter or whatever,
Yeah.
they'll literally have like a therapist or someone like that on set.
Yep.
And they'll say to everyone like, so guys, like I know it's a sensitive thing today, so if anyone feels triggered or if anyone feels like any sort of way, like you can talk to this lady, or even outside hours, like here's her email and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And this is for like, this is film and TV, this is,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So I'm just
Yeah.
curious, like what do they have in place for these amazing nurses and doctors who are dealing with these real life traumatic things every day? What have they put in place to like help aid your mental health and just keeping you guys stable?
Such a difficult question. And you think this would be really straightforward.
Yeah.
Because it's something that really annoys me.
Please, let's talk about it.
But there isn't really anything
Really?
unless you seek it yourself. So there's obviously services that you can access. So there's counselling services and all sorts of things.
Uh-huh.
But you have to go and seek that support yourself. It isn't a let's just talk about today.
Yeah.
I suppose it depends which jobs you're working in, because I know that some areas are a lot better with that. And
Okay.
they'll do regular team debriefs and things like that, especially
Okay.
if there's been a traumatic incident.
Yeah.
We tended to just get that sort of not mandatory, maybe not the word, but they try and get everyone to sit down and talk about it, but it was after major incidents, things like that. So if there'd been a massive crisis or a family and it just been awful for everyone involved, unbelievable, then they'd be like, oh, we've booked a psychologist to come in, and everyone that was on that shift, if you could try and come in. But you'd come in on your day off because you wouldn't get paid to do that. So some
Yeah.
people would be like, sod that, no thanks.
Yeah.
Or I suppose some people are more open than others and want to talk, and others are quite happy dealing with it themselves as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So, you can't do a one-size-fits-all, I guess. But I do wish that there was something built in for sort of regular catch-ups.
Yeah.
And I find in my role now, although I'm not a psychologist, but I have a massive pastoral role. The new people that come to me quite often will come to my office or come and see me after a teaching session, or if I'm working with them clinically at the bedside, and they'll sort of break down and just tell me about how awful things had been recently, and
Yeah.
we'll just be like, okay, let's have a chat about it, or let me take you away and we'll find a room and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of that informally. But yeah, it's something that I've been actively pursuing in the last sort of 5 years to bring it into our unit a lot more.
Okay.
And I know since COVID as well, because there was additional funding for things like that then, it was quite nice that it was finally recognised.
Yeah.
We now have a psychologist on our unit that you can talk to any time.
Oh,
like
wow.
Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, which isn't always when things happen, but
Yeah.
better than nothing.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure people can, they'll hang around after their night shift to see him and things like
Yeah.
that. So that is in place now.
Wow.
Wasn't always the case. Definitely wasn't the case when I was new.
Yeah.
But I was a big fan of the post-work sort of pub debrief with your colleagues, and you're just like, wow, today was insane.
Fucking
Yeah, Jesus, let's just get a beer and just forget about this whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's getting there. I think it will continue to get better. I hope. But yeah, there isn't really anything one size fits all for everyone.
Yeah. That's amazing that you've been advocating it for the last 5 years. And
Well, definitely since COVID, but before that as well, I was struggling a little bit and access some of the services myself.
Yeah.
I think just it built up. It got to a point where it was just too much,
Yeah.
and I just had all of these really intrusive thoughts all the time. And I was like, this is just, I just don't know how to process this.
Yeah.
And then, a little bit later on was after COVID, spoke to someone. She said, it sounds a bit like you've got PTSD from this whole thing. And then she was like, let's talk about some of the things. And I have a very visual memory, so I'll remember the intricacies of somebody that had a massive scar across their face or something, like it's right in front of me.
Yeah.
I'll be able to see it now.
Yeah. Wow.
So that will never leave me. So it's how you can cope with that day to day and be okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm all right now.
Yeah, I mean, you see,
yeah, I sort of recognised it and got the help that I needed.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that happened.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do.
To
try and help these people.
Yeah.
So yeah, and hopefully some of those experiences have helped me be a better educator now, because I can talk about some of the things or some of the signs that you might notice in yourself when you're starting to struggle a bit with some of that. So
Yeah. I guess because the earlier you recognise that, the more opportunity you have to take steps to sort that out and to bring you back to normal.
I think so. I know, there's been a few people that I've spoken to that wanted to leave the profession completely because it's just too much for them, and that's fair enough. And there's a massive thing at the moment about retention of staff. And I know I had a conversation with somebody recently about if they really, really were as unhappy as they were telling me, why don't they have a break? Why don't they take some time off and then decide if they actually want to do this, or work somewhere else, or take the time that they need to process what they've been through and decide if they want to continue.
Yeah.
They don't have to, just like with every job, if you go into an industry and you don't like it anymore, you can leave that industry.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay there forever.
Yeah.
I'm up for people to explore other options.
Yeah.
It's not about keeping them there when they're miserable.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about hospitals slightly differently now.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, like how in school you have these groups of people, and then there'll be like dynamics within those groups of people, and there'll be like different relationships and connections between the different groups, and sometimes it can be hilarious and often quite interesting.
Yeah.
So like school's the easiest example. You'll have like, so if we talk about in the most stereotypical superficial way, you'll have like the smart people, and then the sporty people, and this people, and then that people. But then as we all grew up and went into workplaces, there's different. So like in a classic office, you'll have like accounting and like sales and marketing, whatever else. But then like they'll all have relationships with each other. Like marketing might hate sales and sales. Do you know what I mean? So for example, my version of it is in film. You have like sound, you have lighting, directors, blah blah blah. So like the costume and hair and makeup, we get on all the time because we work closely with the same thing.
Yeah, especially you have to, hey?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sometimes there might be tension in terms of like who wants to do what first, but apart from that, it's all good. But then say like the camera team and the assistant directors, they're very technical. They care about a completely different thing that we care about in terms of the whole picture, the image. We care about their clothes, they care about the framing and the lighting and all things like that. So sometimes we can get in each other's ways in that.
Yeah.
And because of that, that, there's this whole, I don't want to say the word culture, but this whole law of like, the camera guys hate the costume guys, and the so-and-so hate the this and the so-and-so. So I wonder, like, within a hospital, obviously there's so many departments and things like that. Like, is there a similar type of thing?
I think there can be. It sort of depends. I think it depends where you work. You're always going to have cliquey groups of friends, if that makes sense. But I suppose you've got, like, it's so multidisciplinary where you've got doctors, nurses, but then you've got physios, dietitians, speech and language therapists, you know, whoever. I mean, and everyone hates HR.
Why?
Just in general. I think things are just slow. I don't know. I think the only... No, I don't think they hate each other as much as maybe there's cliques that always dislike each other, if that makes sense. I think we all have to work together quite closely for the common goal. Like, you're all there to look after the patients. But I wonder if... I know that nurses annoy people sometimes because there's more of us, pretty much. So you're kind of... There's more nurses than anything else in a hospital. And I know that there are other groups like, oh, the nurses don't want to do this. I put this in the notes, the nurse just wouldn't do it. You know, that kind of stuff.
I see.
So they probably hate us. But yeah, I don't know. I think... Yeah, I don't know if there's a group that always... clash, really.
So it kind of really
like
depends.
There's a jokey thing about medical doctors and surgeons that don't get on, or like just surgery and medicine. So surgery will just want to cut people open. Medicine, they'll want to treat it with drugs and other things, and then they clash a little bit about what to do. But that's sort of like a jokey stereotype. If you've ever watched Scrubs, that's like...
Oh yeah, I remember Scrubs.
The generic.
That was a good show.
Yeah, I used to love Scrubs.
Good show.
Got me through a lot of night shifts.
Really?
I don't know.
Nice. I think that's really funny. I've always found it really interesting how in certain workspaces you have these different departments, but then the different departments attract different types of people.
That's true. I was just about to say that, actually. It depends where you work, because you get different people. I suppose intensive care, you get a lot of people that are, I don't know, quite dynamic and want to learn and things like that. And then in other places less so, or it's a bit slower pace, let's say. ITU is full on, like your nurses in A&E. There's again another stereotype between ICU nurses and A&E nurses being very different, because A&E do a lot and then they move the patient and then they move on and then it's the next one, and they're just fast paced, but they don't spend a lot of time with their patients, whereas we might have our patients for weeks, months, and we want to do all of the care and do everything for that person. So there's like a rivalry about how ITU nurses like all of their infusion lines like labelled and neat and tidy, and the bedspread is like pristine. And the patients quite often are sedated or asleep, so everything's nice and neat. And then A&E is just chaos, and there's stuff everywhere. There's blood up the walls, and there's like rubbish packets everywhere. And there's the thing about how ITU nurses and A&E nurses can't be friends for that reason. Like if you went to one of their houses, it'd be super clean. The other one would just be chaos. And they're happy with that organised chaos.
That's the exact type of thing I was talking about. That's really funny.
That's more it. Well, like departments, but of the same group. So that makes sense.
I get you. Do you know what? I never really thought about that. How you'd have different nurses for different thing, and how they differ as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What you're interested in.
A
lot of I've got a few friends that are palliative care nurses. So they look after sort of end of life care, which is amazing. But that's always something that I couldn't do, because it would probably make me quite sad if that was my job every day. Obviously there's an element of that in every nursing field you go into, but if I had to have those end of life conversations every day, I think it would grind me down. At least where I am, it's about fixing, not.
Okay. Do you have a best friend?
Yes.
Do you trust anyone in your life?
Yes.
Do you hate anyone in your life?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
How many people do you genuinely love in your life?
Oh, genuinely. God. I don't know. I suppose it depends on degrees. Let's go with 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever broken a bone?
Yes.
What was it?
Wrist in 2
Really?
places. Yeah.
What did you do?
I slipped on a wet floor. Really rock and roll.
That's fucking boring. Thanks a lot for that.
I know. Well, technically it was my leaving do and I had a few drinks, but still.
I love how you try to spice that story out as best you could.
I know, but still, lame as.
In a zombie apocalypse, where would you stay and what would your weapon of choice be?
Oh, where would I stay? Well, I always say that, a bit like Is It Shaun of the Dead, where they have to get to the Winchester. I always say that I'd have to get to my mum's because she has so many tins and things of food. She's such a hoarder. So we'd have to get to mum's because that's where the food would be. And she's also got a massive garage with gardening tools. So she'd have like bloody forks
these are
and
natural
things.
weapons.
Yeah, she's got so many. She's probably got something to cut the bushes and like chop heads off zombies. So we'd have to get to my mum's.
Nice. Mum's it is, yeah.
Mum's it is.
Nice. I like that.
I've thought about this.
Yeah, I can tell. Do you like being alone?
Not really.
No. Are you lonely?
No.
Nice. What was your favourite subject in school?
Food or music.
Nice.
Yeah, weirdly, they were probably the career paths I would have chosen.
Yeah, if it wasn't this.
Yeah.
I see. Ow. Who knows you best?
Oh, probably my friends.
5? Those 5 you mentioned?
Yeah, they're in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Depends if I go cool or really boring. Cool, I'd say flying.
What's boring?
Boring would be like healing.
That's a good one.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, just
that
general
would be
healing.
cool.
Yeah. How would you like to die?
Oh, I probably wouldn't want to be aware of it and be sort of comfortable in my sleep. Maybe with people I know around. Yeah.
What was your first impression of me when we met?
Trying to think back now. You felt really friendly and open and genuinely interested in us and the group, which I thought was really nice.
Thank you. I thought you guys were a family when I first approached you guys. Yeah.
Various ages, so we could have been.
Yeah. You guys, it was just the dynamic you guys had. It felt really like sweet and like, I don't know.
I have a really good team.
Yeah, they seem really nice.
I really like them, like on a friendship level as well as a colleague level.
That's really nice.
Really cool.
Maybe next season when we have you back,
We can have a group.
maybe we can convince them.
Yeah, I think we were going to try and get a group. It's just impossible to find days that they could all do. But
maybe if we show them our episode and they'll be like, oh my god, it looks so fun.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
It was so chill.
Yeah, maybe they'll like it.
Yeah, definitely.
How many biscuits is too many biscuits?
3. Unless I'm at work and then it's 25.
That's very sensible. What's more stressful to see? Someone in a jacket when it's boiling hot or someone in a t-shirt when it's freezing cold weather?
Oh, the jacket.
It's so annoying, isn't it?
Why? I see people on the tube in like layers.
Oh my god.
How are you coping? I'm going to pass out just looking at you.
Sometimes I'm like, do you want to take that off?
Yeah.
Do you want to take that off?
What are you hiding under there? Why won't you take it off? Or like quite often if it's really cold and somebody's wearing a tight t-shirt, like, oh yeah, but if I looked that good, I'd do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look great. You're pulling that off.
No, because like the t-shirt thing, I feel like it's from a vanity thing and that's fine. But then the jacket thing, sometimes I feel like people are just like, they left their house like that and they feel too awkward to take it off.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
they keep it on.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like more stressed out for them because I'm like, it's okay. You can take it
relax.
off, man. Like
It's
fine.
Yeah.
No one's gonna question you.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, bless.
You're the first person I've asked this question, but I've been meaning to ask someone this question.
Okay.
If you could be reborn, any race, what race would you be reborn?
Oh.
What would you like to be?
Oh my God, you know, that's so difficult to choose. I'm just fascinated by other cultures. And if I was going with younger me was absolutely fascinated with India.
India. So you have to be an Indian person, Indian lady.
I think I watched, what was it called? Was it Secret Princess or something like that? And she grew up in India for a bit. And I just thought, wow, that place looks amazing. Like the colours and the culture and the, let's go with that.
Cool, that's a nice response. Okay, would you rather be forced to sing along or dance along to every song you hear?
Sing along.
Sing along, nice. Less movement, it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The effort.
Would you rather be in jail for 5 years or be in a coma for a decade?
I suppose if you were in a coma, you wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
But then I really
when
don't
you
want
woke
to be in a
up,
coma.
you would know that there's 10 years
Yeah,
that
you've missed 10 years. But I really don't think I'd fare well in jail.
No?
I just...
Quick 5 stretch now?
Oh, God, I think don't you have to be a bit tough? That's just...
I think just resourceful. You seem like a good chatter.
Blimey, yeah.
You understand how the cliques work. Maybe you'll...
Oh, yeah, maybe. It'd be a good challenge.
Yeah.
So test my social skills. Go on, then let's go to prison.
Yeah?
Just because from what I see, I don't want to be in a coma.
I feel like a nurse would be invaluable in the prison.
I don't know.
I thought they'd look after you.
Well, I don't know. Let's not test that theory.
Yeah, let's not. Let's not. Would you rather vomit on your hero or have your hero vomit on you? It's so random.
Then vomit on me.
Then vomit on you?
Yeah.
Who is your hero?
Oh, it's a difficult one.
Yeah.
It depends if you're thinking of... I don't really know of a hero. I mean, my hero is probably my mum. And I'd rather not vomit on her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd take it.
Yeah.
I'd take it from mum.
Okay. Would you rather be able to see 10 minutes into the future or 150 years into the past?
Past.
Past?
Yeah, what's 10 minutes going to show you? 10 minutes?
Everyone I've asked...
Patience, wait 10 minutes.
Exactly! That's what I thought. So everyone that I've asked so far have said that they'd rather see 10 minutes into the future.
Why?
I was like, dude, why would you rather see that? And they were like, but what if, like, I don't know, what if there's an earthquake in 10 minutes? Or
Yeah, what if you're about to get hit by a car?
Yeah, and I was like, but no, I'm asking you for you right now. So,
Yeah.
like, the chances are, 10 minutes from now, I'll be asking you some more would you rather. So what the fuck does that matter?
Yeah.
I'd rather see
Or the ghosts from that
150.
house might actually come.
Yeah,
Get
come
us.
kill us all. Maybe I do want to see in the future.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's it. Although now I'm trying to think, like, calculate back what 150 years would be.
What would 150 years be?
I was just thinking, where would that... I mean, regardless, that would be really interesting to see the difference.
It would be so fascinating.
Yeah.
Especially if I could see what my bloodline was doing
Yes.
150 years ago.
That would be cool.
That would be fascinating,
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
it?
yeah.
That would be so fascinating.
Yeah, my grandma does a lot of that. Well, she looks into like her family tree and she's gone really far back.
Really?
And I just wish I was invested in it, but she's
Yeah.
just fascinated by trying to work out.
Something like that, you've got to watch from season 1, otherwise you don't get
Yeah,
invested.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we just kind of felt, I mean, my mum always says we're all Mongols in the end. Like, everyone's
Yeah.
from everywhere.
Yeah,
and my family are from all over the place, like, through time. So it's
Yeah.
just really interesting to see how people came and then we
Yeah.
ended up here now.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah,
It's
mad.
it's so fascinating. Would you rather have a pause button or a rewind button in your life?
Oh. Maybe pause. Just to have some processing time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
So instead of having to rewind and then re-experience those things,
Yeah, or
just
like, oh, I'd
pause
messed that up. Yeah, just
Yeah.
be a bit more considered.
Yeah. Would you rather lose your teeth? This is a weird one. Would you rather lose your teeth, all your teeth, or lose a day of your life every time you kiss someone?
Oh, take the teeth.
Take the teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just, yeah. I mean, it depends on what you mean as a kiss. Is it just any time someone pecks you?
That's what I was trying to figure out. Okay, so our rules is that, yeah, every time you kiss someone,
Yeah.
every time you kiss, a day goes off. I'm picking teeth as well.
Yeah, let's
I'm
go
picking teeth as well.
I could stick some fake ones in, it's fine.
I'd like to think that I want to kiss someone in my lifetime. I want to kiss a fair amount.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. I'm not done with kissing yet.
No, I'm far from it, you know?
Yeah,
And I don't want to kiss myself to the grave either.
exactly.
Would you rather have a photographic memory or an IQ of 200?
Oh, I think I already have a photographic memory.
So you'll take the IQ.
Well, I don't know, I quite like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd probably stick with that.
You stick with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at some point I'll probably lose my memory, but for now, yeah.
Yeah. Would you rather be beautiful and stupid or unattractive but a genius?
Oh, definitely a genius.
Yeah. Me
Yeah.
too.
I think, yeah.
Me too. We'll do one more. Ah, good one. Last one. Would you rather be able to speak to any language or be able to communicate with animals?
think speak any language.
Mm.
I think that'd be more useful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I quite like the conversation. I have full conversations with my cat now. He just meows at me.
Without
I'm
you
like,
even
really?
knowing
No way.
that.
Then what happened?
So you communicate with animals fine
Yeah,
already,
it's fine. Yeah,
so
it's
you're
fine.
on point.
I know what they're thinking. So
Fair
it's all
enough.
good.
I have loads of different ones, but like I'd love
really?
to know. I'd love to know. I love to know things like that. I also like to know. I'd love to know like dumb things. So I'd love to know
How many bananas did I eat in my life?
shit like that. Yeah, like how many grams of potassium did I consume my entire life? I need to know. I'd like to know who called my name out the most.
Right.
Most likely my mum.
Yeah,
But,
probably.
but maybe not. Maybe it was
Yeah.
one of my partners or something.
That's true. Yeah.
I'd like to know
That's
whose name I called out the most in my life.
Yeah. True.
So I came up with this when I was like a young teenager. I was obsessed with what happens when you die, and I just decided that this is what happens when you die. Like you just get to find out everything about your life.
Yeah.
So when I was 13, I decided to I was like, this is so dumb, but I was like, if this stuff, in my head I was like, I know this happens when you die. So I was like, I can do things in my life now, consciously, to alter the stats that I'm going to see when I die.
Right.
So for me, that's what superstition was.
Right.
So you know how they
Okay.
say, I don't know if you've seen do you know the 3 drain superstition?
No.
Where if
You stand on 3 drains.
it's
Yes,
bad
I know
luck
what
if you
mean.
stand on
Yeah,
3 drains.
Yeah.
So
It's either good or bad luck. This is why I can't keep on top of superstitions.
Yeah.
Because I don't know which way round it is.
Yeah,
Are you
exactly.
supposed to walk under the bridge or not? I don't
Yeah.
know. I can never remember.
So I made up all of my own rules when it comes to superstitions. But I
Don't step on cracks.
yeah, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I consciously try to avoid 3 drains.
Yeah.
But then I want to. So when I die, I'd like to see how many 3 drains I have stepped on since I was 13 in my life, and I'd like to compare that to the average Londoner who does live in London.
Yeah.
How many 3 drains did they step on? So I'd like to see how much I altered my results based on. Due to the
Yeah.
fact that I knew that it was
Consciously
going to happen.
changing a behaviour.
Exactly, yeah. I'm cooking the books, girl.
Yeah.
I'm cooking the books.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm just so curious. I'd love to know,
That is a good one.
even the bridge thing. Not the bridge, but walking under
Yeah,
a sign.
yeah,
So I
that's
avoid
it.
that as well.
Yeah,
and
I
I'd like
tend
to
to.
know how many times I did walk under a sign after consciously saying that I wouldn't. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I like scaffolding and ladders, but that's just good sense.
Yeah.
Don't walk underneath something that's like
Yeah.
a temporary structure.
Yeah.
It will fall on you.
I'd love to know when I was closest to death.
Yeah.
Without knowing, sometimes you get near misses that you're aware of. Someone pushes you out of the
Yes.
way, or you
Yeah,
see something coming.
that's
But
true.
sometimes, there must be occasions where you could have died, but you had no idea in that moment.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's true.
Maybe something like what you were saying about the hotel. Maybe someone decided that they were going to do something like that to you,
Yeah.
but then for some circumstance or reason decided not to.
Yeah.
But then that was that technically was the closest that you were to death, because they were so certain they were going to do it and then change their mind.
And then, or someone else came out of a different door, and then they're like, "Oh God, I can't do it now." And then
Yeah.
yeah. That would be crazy fascinating, but also really terrifying. Because if you're already
Yeah.
dead, it would matter less. But
Yeah, you'd be like,
probably-
close, bitch, you nearly
Yeah.
got me. You nearly
I
got
don't
me.
think I'd want to know. That's like knowing about 10 minutes in the future. I'd be constantly terrified, and I'd be constantly looking.
Yeah.
I'd be all the time going, let me just quickly see 10 minutes. Let me
Yeah.
just quickly see 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Just,
every time you
yeah.
enter a new situation
And I'd
before you
obsess
do.
over it, and
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, I think you're right.
rather not know.
Yeah, 100%. This has been I can't lie, I've had a lot of fun this
Yeah,
episode.
this has been fun, thanks.
It's been really, really nice. I would 100% would love to have you back again.
very happy to.
It's decided that if I do that that thing where I spend 4 days going up, I'm done in the UK doing events, you have to do at least one of them with me.
Sure,
Yeah?
I'm down.
If we do another episode, I'd love to do it with the group. But
Yeah.
even if they're not down, just you and me, it'd be really fun.
Yeah, of
But
course.
honestly, I've had a lot of time spending time with you
sure they
and hanging out. Normally, when I finish every episode, I say, it's nice to know you and I'll see you next week. But I was with my friend Connor the other day, and I'm actually quite upset about this. We were talking about this show, and he was like, how do you start each episode or end each episode? And I was like, I don't really have a thing that I say at the start of each episode, but at the end I say, it's nice to know you and I'll see you next week. And he goes, dude, you're fucking you're missing out on the perfect exit strategy or the intro. I should have said it at the start, but I kind of forgot, so I'm gonna say it now.
Okay.
But he was like, yeah, like this is like the perfect exit you could come up with, and you haven't even been using it. Are you aware of? Do you remember the show Strictly Come Dancing?
Yes.
So he just say like, it's nice to know you.
Nice.
Thank you, and I'll see you next week.
Very good.
Thank you so much. That was really fun. I had a lot of
worries.
fun. That was great.
That was really fun.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
fucking did it.